You know, I call the mountains my church, and I pray every day. Yeah, I guess the mountains are my energy source.
Jeremy Jones is one of the pioneers of the sport of snowboarding.
Pulled this out of the attic of my old house. This is the actual very first one, pro model that I got from Rosignol. This is my track on a run called Shoulder of Death.
He's made jaw-dropping runs from around the world in films like Mind the Addiction.
I entered my first pro contest when I was 16 years old. Got third place in the contest and kind of been doing it ever since, professionally.
More than 2 decades later, Jones is 38 and just as dedicated to the sport as he was when he began. The reason, he says, is because now his snowboard breaks in two.
If it wasn't for splitboarding, you know, I have a hard time imagining that I'd be as excited on the sport as I am now. From far away, it looks like a normal snowboard, but you take the bindings off, it's actually cut in half, it turns into 2 skis. Now we climb. You basically ski tour up the mountain exactly how skiers do. When you get to the top, you reconnect those 2 skis into one snowboard, and now you have a snowboard and you ride back down.
Now Jones takes just as much pleasure in climbing up as he does in dropping down.
I've had an incredible career in snowboarding, and I've snowboarded around the world. I've probably snowboarded out of a helicopter more than maybe any snowboarder in the world, or almost any snowboarder in the world. But now we have the splitboarding component where you don't need the resorts. It's just a total different take on it and kind of a new phase that is definitely adding a jolt of excitement in a sport that, quite frankly, I've been watching declining the last 5 years. Going to the top of that, and then we'll ride the snow facing us.
Jones's most recent films, Deeper and Further by Teton Gravity Research, chronicle his expeditions to climb and ride untouched mountains around the world. He takes his splitboards up faces and terrains where even helicopters can't go, like the protected Wrangels Range of Alaska.
We gotta get off this thing now!
Despite his daring, Jones, who is a father of 2, says safety is always a priority.
You know, I hope to inspire people to get into the mountains, but in doing so, I do feel like I have a responsibility to get out the word of you need to get educated in backcountry safety.
Jones also started an environmental nonprofit called Protect Our Winters.
Together we can
protect our winters.
It did bum me out that my snowboarding required a ton of fuel. So I had guilt with that. You know, I'm pleased to say that I've drastically reduced my impact on the environment with my snowboarding these days compared to 5 years ago when I was consistently using helicopters and snowmobiles.
When he's at home in Truckee, California, he can often be found on one of the peaks near Lake Tahoe, scouting new lines.
I mean, that's the whole goal of snowboarding, is to go and have it take you to this place that you don't go to in, say, on a regular basis, and make you feel like you're walking on air. And for me, that's splitboarding.